Marriage counselors, what are the most common mistakes couples make? Expecting one person to be everything for them. You need friends, coworkers, a support system, and hobbies. Keeping secrets or lies. Failure to communicate effectively, this can be taught. Getting married because they wanted a wedding, not because they wanted to be married. I went to 5 sessions with my wife during a tough period. The best things we learned from that is never lash the other with past misbehaviors when trying to resolve a current issue. We have been married 17 years, so there is limitless crap we can pull out of our history together to highlight past wrongs, and that just derails what could be a quick resolution. When one half says I'm not happy about X, do not respond with okay, but I'm unhappy with Y. Fix X, get settled. Then bring up Y if you still need to, especially number 2. This is not a comparison. My being bad to you once doesn't justify you being bad to me, and vice versa. Keeping score. A partnership is a team, not a competition. Whether a person keeps score of everything they have done, or everything their partner has done, it is a death knell for the relationship. This is one of the most common causes of resentment in a relationship, and you see it often when people use absolute terms to describe themselves or their partners. I pointy, I always, she never. Remembering that each person has his/her own needs, abilities, skills, and boundaries is essential to a healthy couple. Expecting that because your significant other knows you better than others and is around you most, that they are aware of all of your thoughts and feelings. Your partner is not psychic, and no matter how often they are around you, or how well they know you, they cannot pick up on every nuance to determine how you are feeling and how they should respond. That is called emotional babysitting, and it cascades into a host of problems and unnecessary hurt. In response to point 2, I banned the phrase "you should just know" from my vocabulary after experiencing how stupidly frustrating that sentence is. People sometimes forget why they just walked in a room. It's not reasonable to think that, even if hints were dropped or things were insinuated, that your partner understands you without you saying your thought clearly and truthfully to them. Not listening. Most people listen to respond and don't listen to hear. This is what I spend the most time teaching couples how to do. How do you do it? Maybe if you could just give me the fundamentals. I know people pay you for this knowledge. Only thing I can offer you is an upvote lol. I have provided couples counseling at different points in my career. Some of the common mistakes I will often see are expecting partners to be able to read their mind and anticipate needs and wants. Goes with the first one. Lack of communication/comfort with discussing difficult topics. Or one partner being uncomfortable with discussion a topic which leaves both partners feeling frustrated or dissatisfied. Blaming their partner for all issues in the relationship and not taking ownership of their own role in dysfunction/issues. Not expressing gratitude towards your partner on a regular basis. Experiences and expressions of gratitude can have a really positive effect on psychological well-being as well as relational strength. Not giving intimacy in their relationship enough attention. This includes but is not limited to sex. Many relationships start with the hot and heavy phase, where intimacy can come naturally. As this phase diminishes, many couples do not spend the time and energy to consider how to maintain a healthy level of intimacy now that it doesn't just come naturally. Divorce lawyer here. Talk about money. Talk about sex. If you're marrying someone with a T credit score, you should know how and why they ended up with it, lest you find yourself in their shoes very quickly. A credit score can cost thousands and take years to rebuild. Know if they have any tax liens or liability. Are they paying child support? And do they have any kind of garnishment? Who is going to be responsible for managing the finances? How many credit cards does the other person have, and what are their balances? I've seen money kill a lot of marriages. Another one a lot of people don't think of is actually talking about sex, not just having it. Do you enjoy the sex you have? Would you like to have more of it? Less? Would you like to see it change? Do you or the other person have any weird kinks? Just have the talk. Different sexual wavelengths can be difficult to reconcile. Therapist here. Have served couples. Number one problem I see is overactive threat response creating anger and rigidity. People don't stop to turn down their defense mode and lose sight of love because all their energy is going towards being right or controlling the outcome. Of course that control comes from a place of fear, but fear and vulnerability feels too dangerous, so it typically gets expressed as anger, frustration, or rigidity. Surrender to not having control, accept what's in front of you, and cultivate compassion, please. Because you're rigid couples who just can't prioritize empathizing with each other over your fear response are driving me nuts. Edit. Just adding a smiley face, and that this is the most common case I see, not the only. There are lots of folks who won't fit this pattern. It's fear of loss, not a lack of empathy. If I'm wrong, then it means I did a bad thing in the relationship and that will harm their view of me. It's okay if they did the bad thing, because I know I will forgive them, but I can't guarantee the same in the reverse, so I must win. Wife has degree in marriage and family counseling. One of the bigger factors in a successful marriage are couples responding to repair attempts during argument/conflict. Rescue attempts are often little jokes or olive branches to help overcome issues and arguments. Edit. People keep asking for an example. My wife didn't buy movie tickets in advance for date night this last Sunday, and it was sold out. It sucked. She laughed and sheepishly said, "Well, at least we get to spend more time together staring longingly into each other's eyes." That was her rescue attempt. It works two ways though. I also have to respond positively to it, which I did. We did a lot of staring longingly into each other's eyes last Sunday. As soon as couple stops being on the same team, fighting all the poop of life together, things fall apart. Get on the same team. Get behind each other's goals. If you're not on the same team, you're just going to wind up annoying the hell out of each other. All that poop of life is going to be beating you down, and your life partner is just going to be part of it instead of a refuge. That's kind of how my last relationship ended. We ended things before it got too bad and are still friends, but our life goals were becoming too incompatible and we knew we wouldn't both make it through to the other side. When your significant other brings something to your attention that they need/want, don't react harshly if it's something they've refused to bring up sooner. Getting loud or defensive "why didn't you bring this up sooner?" will make them shy away from bringing things up again due to negative reinforcement/backlash. This is especially true if they've been victims of any kind of abusive relationships. Source: literally killed my marriage because I was an idiot and didn't respond in an open non-positive way. One of the most toxic things I have found in doing marriage counseling is when couples think of themselves as individuals who happen to be together and not as a couple. Not that I'm advocating enmeshment. That's not really marriage. That's having a roommate, or perhaps less than that even. Marriage is a union of two people. That's what the unity candle and sand and knots are all about. There is a bringing together of two lives that is inseparable. If either member still conceptualizes themselves as a solely autonomous individual whose actions and dispositions impact only themselves, things will go bad eventually. They go bad because it results in a person caring more for themselves than their spouse. This is seen where couples spend money behind each other's backs because it's my money. Why does it matter? When couples keep secrets from each other, which inevitably results in pain. This is seen when couples don't stop to consider their spouse's thoughts, feelings, desires, dreams, abilities, and strengths alongside their weaknesses. The remedy to this is behaving as a unit in small ways and in large. If you're getting something from the fridge, see if your spouse wants something. It even helps in arguments. No longer is it spouse against spouse, but it's the married couple against the issue causing stress to the unit. When one person considers a course of action, their thoughts ought to be about how it impacts the unit. TL. Doctor and the two shall become one flesh, so they are no longer two but one. This is really a part of relationships. People change and one of three things happens. You change in the same direction. You change in different directions and find a new arrangement for the relationship and new personalities. You change in different directions and you don't find a new arrangement. We had some friends who got married, and we tried so hard to keep them from getting married. He was immature, and she was incredibly immature. She had been engaged 3 times. Each time she was dating the next person within a month of the engagement falling through. In one case it fell through less than a month before the wedding, and she was dating the new guy within a week. This is actually the 2 friends that ended up getting married. They constantly fought. I mean, constantly. I've been present when he's taking off his ring and asked if she wanted it back. Last I saw of them, they were still fighting constantly, and I'm convinced the only reason they are still married is because they are religious and don't want to be seen in a divorce, or don't realize how miserable they are. I don't know if they will ever mature, but knowing each one I know that they will do so in very different directions. This is why people who have not matured should not get married.